Start. Rolling. Okay. What's the first word? Sorry, I'll repeat. All right, welcome back to another episode. We have today with us Geetika. She is Director Customer Success from Single Interface. Welcome to Filtersoft.
Hi Bharat, thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming, and let's start without further ado. Yeah.
Okay.
First section, Geetika, just to warm you up, quick fire. You have to, be fiery and respond in 1 second.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Let's start.
Yes.
What's the first word that comes to mind when I say coffee?
First love.
Okay. Binge watching.
Netflix.
Okay. Monday.
Mundane.
Brand safety.
Most important.
Okay. Memes.
Love it.
Wi-Fi.
Can't live without.
Okay. Ad fraud.
Pervasive.
Okay. Clickbait.
Need to be taken rid of.
Okay. Ad tech.
Fabulous. Have been attending for many years.
Right. Okay, that's the section.
Yeah.
The next section is a fun rapid fire round. Here is your first question. Which company aired the first ever banner ad in 1994? Your options are Nike, AT&T, or Nokia.
AT&T.
All right. Which of these is not an ad fraud technique? Your options are A/B testing, click injection, or pixel stuffing.
A/B testing.
Okay. Which of these is an ad fraud technique? Your options are cost per acquisition, click farms, or return on ad spend ROAS.
Click farms.
All right.
Yep.
What does DSP stand for in programmatic advertising?
Demand side platforms.
Okay, you can answer obviously without the options.
Yes.
All right. Which type of digital ad fraud costs advertisers the most amount of money as per research? Is it domain spoofing, click injection, or pixel stuffing?
Domain spoofing.
Okay. What does IVT stand for in fraud detection? Is it invalid traffic, interactive viewability test, or impression verification tool?
Third option.
Interactive viewability test.
Yes.
All right. Which of these is not a form of ad fraud? Your options are click spamming, contextual targeting, device spoofing.
Contextual targeting.
All right.
Yeah.
Last three questions. What does MMP stand for in mobile marketing? Media marketing platform, mobile measurement partner, or multi-channel media partner?
Mobile measurement partner.
Okay. Last two questions. Which ad format has the highest fraud rates as per research?
Okay.
Is it social media ads, video ads, or display banners?
Display banners.
Okay, last question. What does the term SIVT stand for in ad fraud? Your options are sophisticated invalid traffic, systematic impression validation tool, smart interactive video tracking.
Systematic impression verification tool.
All right, so that's pretty much it for this section. The next section is hot takes. All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, first question, here we go. Brand safety, is it a real necessity or just a tick box exercise in today's world?
It is the biggest necessity of the day. So because see, the thing is, brand safety is, like the exposure, the kind of, ecosystem that we are operating in. There are so many brand frauds happening, and it's so complex nowadays, to if there is something happening to the brand, to basically trace it down.
Right.
So it's very important for us to have third-party verification, happening in. We have deployed the right kind of tools. There are multiple AI tools to basically, track the anomalies, etc. Because in the end, if your brand, the risk that you are exposed to, if it is exposed at a wrong place, the risk is really high. So I believe for any brand, that is the utmost thing. It's the need of the hour.
Right. True, very true. Next question, are we measuring the wrong things in digital advertising today?
I feel yes, we are. Like, it's high time that, the way digital is evolving, it is very essential for us to evolve from, just measuring plain impressions, clicks and conversions. It's very essential, especially in the branding campaigns, to go a mile ahead and to basically measure engagement, the attention span. It's very important we have to move away from impressions, which is the past, more like part of the history now, because to track the relevance, it is very important that we are looking into the deeper matrix, which is basically towards engagement and towards value addition.
Okay.
In terms of when I say value addition, that how is something that a campaign that I'm leading to increasing my engagement rates, is leading to increase my conversions at the end. How is it increase building in I would say attention span if I'm running a branding campaign. So we have to evolve and move forward to these metrics.
So next question, Gitika. Ad fraud is an invisible problem until something goes wrong. Should brands be doing more?
I totally agree with you, because I think being in this digital marketing space over the last 14 years, the biggest thing that I've experienced is time and again, we as working with agency and tech, we've realized that this is the demon that we really need to take care of, because we really don't know like where exactly our brands are being exposed. Whichever platform we are running, there is a chance of a brand being exposed to irrelevant placements, and especially I think with content making becoming the most essential part today, the content is actually, there is no filter. We're the more we're progressing, the content is getting bad, and the risk of it's so easy to upload anything and everything and to create the irrelevant kind of content and have placements going there. So I really feel that it's essential for brands to focus on putting right kind of monies on brand safety measures, to basically use the available tools in the market. It might be a incurring cost, but eventually it saves the risk that they might be exposed to. We have actually tools like Filter it also, right? So the basic thing is we should use these tools, because they will only help better our brand exposure, and secondly also like avoid us from basically the risk of being exposed in the wrong place. Is it might eventually it's easier to like basically it takes a long time to build a brand, but it really takes one wrong ad exposure to basically make it fall. So yeah, very important.
Yeah, very true. Okay, all right. Next section is a live poll. Let's start. If you could remove one problem from digital advertising forever, what would it be? Would it be ad fraud, attribution, or ad creative issues?
The first demon is ad fraud. So
All
yeah,
right.
ad fraud.
All right. What's the most frustrating thing about digital ads? Seeing the same ad 100 times in a row,
Okay.
clicking an ad by mistake, or is it watching an ad before a YouTube video?
I would say seeing one ad repetitively, that certainly
First
is the
option.
irritating part. Yeah.
All right. What's the most misleading phrase in digital advertising today? Is it AI powered optimization, guaranteed reach and engagement, or brand safe inventory?
Misleading would be more AI powered,
All right.
optimization.
Okay.
Because I really feel that AI is also being used in a misleading way. It's being used
Just
everywhere.
used because
Yes.
of
Yes,
the coolness
because
of
it's
it.
trending. It's in trend. So anyone and everyone is using AI these days.
Right. Right, very true. What's the biggest mistake advertisers make today? Is it trusting publisher reported data blindly, running too many creatives, or not bidding aggressively enough?
I think trusting the publisher data blindly.
All right.
Yeah.
What percentage of online ads are estimated to be seen by bots instead of humans, basis your understanding?
Okay.
All right, 30 to 40%, 10 to 15%, or 50 to 60%.
30 to 40%. That's my estimation.
Okay, all right. What percentage of all ad clicks are estimated to be fraudulent, basis your understanding? 20 to 30%, 5 to 10%, or 40 to 50%.
20 to 30%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which of these is the biggest red flag for a digital ad campaign? Is it CTR of 20% on a display ad, low video watch time, or 5-second bounce rate?
CTR of 20%.
All right. What's the most misleading performance metric? Viewability rate, brand recall surveys, video completion rate.
Brand, the second option.
Brand recall surveys.
Yes.
All right, last question. What percentage of ads are never seen by a human? Is it 40 to 50%, 10 to 20%, or 60 to 70%?
40 to 50%.
Okay, that's it for the live poll. We have last two sections, right? Explain, like I'm a 5-year-old. So explain hyperlocal like I'm a 5-year-old.
Okay.
Over to you.
So think like this. For a 5-year-old, what is the most exciting part for you? I think what would interest a 5-year-old is type, right? So taking that example, you go online, you go on Google, and you want to buy a Lego, the latest Lego that is released. So you want to buy a Lego. You search Lego near me. So what you see is you have some results coming in, then you have the map results, and then you see the closest Hamleys near you. Okay, so the map shows you the closest Hamleys near you. You go there, you get directions to your closest Hamley store. You call your dad and you tell your dad that the Hamley stores is just 500 meters away, and you want to go and buy the Lego game, right?
Right.
So that is exactly what hyperlocal is. So hyperlocal basically, in the simplest form, is like right ad to the right person at the right time.
Right.
So what it does is basically it caches on your near me presence. So like you went online, you searched for your near me toy store, it gave you the results of Hamleys, and then it's so easy for you to either use the map, get directions, take an action, even call that person and check on the availability. So hyperlocal basically, I really think is has become the need of the hour. So it is like I think it is a must do for all retailers in 2025, if you ask me, because if I ask you, if you were a brand marketer and I ask you to spend 100 rupees, would you rather spend it on 10 irrelevant clicks, or would you rather spend that for making 2 customers walk in, which will be by cashing on the near me presence around you?
Yeah, very true. For a retail brand, I think it would make more sense to utilize a hyperlocal. All right, the last section, it's a final takeaway, which is a strong closing statement from you. If there is one thing advertisers should focus on in 2025, what would it be?
One takeaway from that I would give to all the advertisers in 2025 is that we really need to start focusing on building a marketing presence where we are addressing the overall funnel, because in the end, business, it is very important to see that how whatever marketing I'm doing is leading up to basically adding up to my business, improving my ROI, improving the my conversions and sales, or probably increasing the walk-ins, and that is the goal. Every penny that I'm putting into my marketing spends should be basically resulting into some sort of ROI for me. I think that's the take that all we as marketers should take in here.
All right, that was an insightful take on return of investments to brands. Thank you, Geetika, for joining us on Filtersoft.
It was a pleasure.
And it was a pleasure having you.
Same here. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode. We have more guests and more topics in our other sections. Check that out. I'll be seeing you next. See you.